What's up, everyone? I'm here with the Week 9 team builder for the NPBA, and this week we are facing off against the Falkirk Braixen. So, before I start the team builder, I'm going to show you the standings. It's a little hard to see, maybe. I don't know, I'll make it a little bigger. So you can see I am up here in second place at 6-2. My opponent is 3-5, so he wants a win here for sure. Because my opponent, there's 3 weeks left, so at 3-5, if he wins his next 3, he'll be 6-5. He'll probably get in. So it's not like he's just given up yet. Like if I was facing one of the bottom 2 people, maybe they've given up at this point. That said, I am 6-2. If I lose the next 3, which is possible because I'm playing number 1 next week. I don't know who my last one is. I'll have to look. I'll still make playoffs, pretty much guaranteed, but I won't get my first round bye. The first 2 ranks get a first round bye. The next 4 have to play an extra round. Excuse me. So looking at next week, like this week I'm playing this guy. Next week, I'm going to zoom out now. Oop, just messed up the dock. 1 second. There we go. So next week, I'll be facing the number 1 guy. And then the week after that, I'll be facing someone kind of in the middle. Oh, I'm facing the number 3 guy. So I have 2 very strong opponents left after this week. And I can probably lose like one of those games and hope people lose other games. But like everyone who's currently in playoffs has 3 losses and I have 2 losses. So I really need to solidify my position in the number 2 slot. So this week, pretty much every week here is a must-win if I'm going for top 2. If I just want to make playoffs, I'm pretty much set, but I really want to make top 2. So let's get into the opponent matchup. So I'm going to show you guys my team, just as a reminder. So I have Megalodios, Urshifu Rapid Strike. I know there's no Sprite here. There was an error. I never fixed it. Anyway, Ferrothorn, Toxapex, Volcarona, Crocodile, Comfey, Ditto, Aerodactyl, Electrode, and Golduck. Then my opponent this week, he's bringing Garchomp, Megalopunny, Skarmory, Rotom Heat, Azumarill, Amoonguss, Gligar, Mismagius, Sneasel, Espeon, Skuntank, and Tauros. So that is a pretty powerful team, but he doesn't have anything that's crazy powerful. Like, nothing here is just going to threaten to sweep my whole team. That said, Garchomp Lopunny is such a powerful combo, and I actually struggle against Skarmory Rotom Heat a bit. The Azumarill is actually not too bad for me. I'm fine with the Azumarill. Amoonguss, same thing, but these first 4 are going to be really tough. So, going back to my team, the Garchomp can kind of take care of it can take care of my defensive core because it's a ground type, so it'll kill Toxapex, and then it can bring like Fire Blast to try and beat the Ferrothorn, which I expect he will. And then if it's Scarfed, it'll outspeed my Megalodios and kill me. And yeah, it also just will kill my Volcarona because Volcarona is slower, so I can't do much about it. Then for the Lopunny just outspeeds my whole team. It's 135 speed. Obviously I have Electrode. If you guys have been watching every week, I never bring Electrode. The Electrode and the Golduck, I don't anticipate bringing them ever. I might do it as like a kind of secret tech thing with Electrode. Golduck's never coming. Yeah, it might, but really I have like 9 Pokemon that I'm going to use. My top 6 and then these 3. So the Lopunny is also annoying because it still beats Ferrothorn with close combat. Now, it doesn't beat Toxapex. Toxapex can wall the Lopunny pretty well, but it also, like, yeah, Volcarona is a decent matchup into it, but it kills my Crocodile. One thing you'll notice, though, between Garchomp and Lopunny, Comfey actually covers both of them quite nicely. Yes, Garchomp will probably run like Iron Head, but, excuse me, I can be resistant or immune to some stab moves, and generally just pivot around them, kind of deal some damage. So you'll see the first thing I'm bringing this week is actually the Comfey. I just have a standard pivot set with heavy duty boots, U-turn, defog, and then Draining Kiss for some damage, and Aromatherapy because he has Rotom Heat and Amoonguss, so that's a Will-O-Wisper and a Spore Pokemon, as well as like Gligar could have Toxic, Mixmagius could have Will-O-Wisp, Skuntank could have Toxic. It might actually get Will-O-Wisp, I don't remember. Skarmory could have Toxic. He's got a lot of Pokemon that I'm kind of scared of status from, and it's mainly for Spore and Will-O-Wisp from the Rotom Heat and the Amoonguss, because those are just going to be really annoying. So from there, so this Comfey, it's max defense. So that's just meant to why am I on that? That's meant to be the most tanky I can be against the Lopunny and the Garchomp. You'll see my Ferrothorn and Watermelon, which is a Tuxapex. Oh, that's not called Watermelon, that's called Pineapple, sorry. Nicknames are messed up. Sorry, my Toxapex and my Ferrothorn are both defensive, so I am going to use them all three to really stop this offensive power from Garchomp and Lopunny. So, taking another look at his team, you'll notice he doesn't really have special attackers. Yes, he has the Rotom Heat, which can be a special attacker, but it seems to be part of kind of a core with Skarmory. So, yeah, it's obviously going to run like Overheat Volt Switch, but it doesn't really ever go... I don't anticipate it going offensive. Even if it does, it's not that scary. I can deal with it fine, because it doesn't really do anything to Latias. Or, yeah, mainly Latias. Anyway, his next biggest offensive threat is Azumarill, and then Sneasel. So all four of those are physical attackers. Yes, he has Mismagius. Yes, he has Espeon. Mismagius isn't really that strong. Espeon could be kind of annoying, but it just doesn't do anything into a Latias, as well as like a Ferrothorn. So I'm not really scared of Espeon. That's why all three of my defensive Pokemon are physically defensive this week. So next up, sorry this video is kind of going long, but I've got a Latias Mega with Roost and 3 attacks. I decided against Calm Mind this week mainly because I'm scared of Scarf Garchomp. So I decided to go just max HP, enough speed to outspeed Garchomp. It's not enough speed to outspeed this Mismagius. I figured if he really brings Mismagius, which I don't think he will, I don't really care about it, in all honesty. It's not really that scary to me. I can figure out a way to kill it. And, sorry, I've been thinking of this the whole time. I really want to make this move Toxic on Toxapex. Anyway. I can outspeed that Garchomp. If he's Scarfed, I just die, but then I just come in with, like, something else and threaten damage. So, it also is very good into Lopunny, because I'll resist his main stab moves. I am weak to U-turn, unfortunately. That's why I ran Bulky mainly, so I could live a U-turn. I can also probably live a Dragon Claw. I haven't calced it. I was meaning to, but yeah, that's basically why I went Bulky, because he's kind of offensive. Then the moves are Draco Meteor will kill the Garchomp. It will also do a lot of damage to basically his whole team. Not the Skarmory, not the Azumarill. Everything else cannot really take a Draco. At least very well. Psychic is the more reliable, spammable move. That's for pretty much also everything. He doesn't really have Psychic switch-ins except against Skarmory, and then Sneasel, Espeon, Skuntank. I don't think he'll be bringing all those. He might bring like one. But Psychic's going to do a lot to Amoonguss, Rotom Heat, mainly for the Lopunny. It'll just be a one-shot on the Lopunny. Then Thunderbolt is the last move. That's for the Skarmory, as you've heard me say. Skarmory resists both my stabs, but I have Thunderbolt for it, so it also hits the Azumarill, super effective, so it's nice there. And like, if he switches into Lopunny, which I don't know why he would, it's at least not immune to it or whatever. But really it's just so I don't get walled by Skarmory, because I do anticipate him bringing Skarmory here. Next up, I have the Urshifu Rapid Strike. I'm bringing Choice Band this week because I want to just be able to do as much damage as possible and just break his walls. It's going to do so much damage with the Choice Band with that 130 base attack. I'm also running enough speed to outspeed a max speed Rotom. I was considering not doing it, but I thought I really don't want to die. I really don't want to, not die, but I don't really want to take a Will-O-Wisp. That said, I don't know if he'll even run max speed Rotom. I'm actually reconsidering this right now. Let's do some live calcs, okay? So I'll go through my moveset first and do some explanation. So Close Combat is a really good stab option. It'll do a ton of damage to Garchomp. Obviously it'll kill the Lopunny. And, you know, most of his Pokemon, you know, like the Skarmory, will take a lot from it. Aqua Jet is, because I'm not running Scarf this week, I want to just be able to have the option of spamming Aqua Jet, and he can't really take water moves that well. Yes, he has the Amoonguss and the Azumarill, but like they wall me anyway, so that's fine. Then I've got Ice Punch. That's just to one-hit kill the Garchomp. And also, it's just so the Amoonguss doesn't fully wall me. And of course, U-turn to just get out of there. Sometimes I'm going to be a bad spot. But you'll wonder, why don't I have Surging Strikes? The answer is, I am just too scared of Rocky Helmet. He could easily bring Rocky Helmet Garchomp, and I think I just die if I use Surging Strike. So I go to like 20% or something. Garchomp has Rough Skin, and he's not going to bring Sandveil because he doesn't have any sand on his team. So he's going to bring a Rough Skin Garchomp. And if that switches into Surging Strikes, I think I take 36%. I think Rough Skin does 12% each hit. So yeah, that's why I'm not bringing Surging Strikes here. I just didn't think it was necessary, and I'd rather have Aqua Jet. So let me go for this Urshifu Choice Band into Garchomp. So you'll see I'm going to replace Surging Strikes with Ice Punch, and I'm kind of going to run through his whole team with this. So Ice Punch just kills the Garchomp. It doesn't really matter my set. If we go to Lopunny, it just dies to Close Combat. If we go to Skarmory, this was the big one. If this is just like a fully defensive Skarmory, which it might be, it's at least a 2-hit KO with Close Combat. That's absolutely max attack. Sorry, max defense for the Skarmory. It'll still be a 2 KO. Now if he has leftovers, it won't be. But that's another reason to maybe go Adamant. Because let's say he's leftovers. This only has an 80% chance to a KO, which is still really good. But if we're Adamant, it obviously shoots up to 100. So that's pretty nice. The Rotom Heat was the big one. So let's say he's Rotom Heat and he's like defensive. Let's say he's max defense. Let's say Bold Nature. He still takes a ton from Close Combat. If he's not defensive though, this is Adamant. There's a 50% chance he dies to Close Combat. Now, do I think he'll actually just run max speed? Now I have to look at my team. He might to outspeed the Golduck. That's the problem. I wish Golduck wasn't on my team. Because he might run just enough speed to outspeed that Golduck, which would just be running essentially max speed. So if you look at Golduck, right? Let's just do that. Say Golduck is timid. 295. So as you can see, Adamant max speed, I only get to 293 speed. It's really tough. I mean, if I'm slower than Rotom Heat, I'm so screwed. That's why I really don't think I can run Adamant. I really feel like I have to run Jolly here. Because if he just runs max speed Rotom Heat, I'm going to take so much damage from a Volt Switch. And I just can't have that. The other thing is, if he's some set like this, I still do a lot with Aqua Jet. Let me switch this to Jolly Nature. And like, that's assuming he's max defense. If he's just like max HP, just think about it. If he's max speed, right, then he won't be max defense. He can't be both max speed and max defense. So I think Jolly's the best option here, just to guarantee the outspeed, and then hopefully pick up an Oko with close combat. And then I can just go from there. I have the Aqua Jet for other things, like the Lopunny, the Garchomp as like kind of a cleanup killer. Hopefully it works out. It's kind of a tough matchup overall for my team. I've been saying like Crocodile's not very good here into Rotom Heat, Skarmory, Amoonguss. Like that's terrible for Crocodile. Volcarona, kind of the same thing. Like Rotom Heat just fully walls it. Garchomp can kill it. Azumarill. So I didn't have a lot of offensive options here. That's why I only have 2 offensive Pokemon on my team and 3 defensive. So I think this is the first time I've brought 3 defensive Pokemon. Anyway, let's go to my first full wall, and that's the Toxapex. So I've got Scald. I really want to burn this Garchomp or the Lopunny. That's going to be huge. Or even the Azumarill. I don't think he brings Azumarill, because Azumarill is really bad into Ferrothorn Toxapex. So Scald is great here. Even burning the Skarmory will basically mitigate its leftovers. I've got Recover because I want to stall. This is a stall Toxapex. Recover, Baneful Bunker, Toxic. I just changed from Knockoff to Toxic because I realized I might want to just try and poison something like the Rotom Heat to kill it, and just stall it out with like Baneful Bunker and Recover, and just like switching out and stuff. So that's the plan with the Toxapex. And it's max defense, like I've said earlier. I think max defense is good here. I can probably live like a Garchomp hit. If you're wondering, Garchomp. And yeah, I live in Earthquake, so that's pretty nice. That's why I'm defensive and not special defensive, as well as just completely walling the Lopunny. And then I have Ferrothorn here. This is, again, pretty standard. I got Rocks. Rocks are going to like chip his pivot Pokemon like Lopunny. And then I have Gyro Ball. It's actually going to do a lot of damage to Lopunny. Decent amount of damage to Garchomp. Also good damage to like Sneasel, Espeon, Mismagius if he brings one of those. So that'll be nice. Knockoff is good for the Skarmory. It makes it so he can't actually beat me with Skarmory. Or even if he switches into Skarmory, I can knock off his leftovers if he's running them, Leech Seed him, and then he might be able to just stall with Roost, but I'll get a ton of health back with Leech Seed. And then, again, Leech Seed is just great here, because nothing really wants to stay in on Leech Seed. It's just a pretty annoying thing. Iron Barbs is also very good on the Lopunny, because all of Lopunny's moves pretty much are contact moves, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Lopunny only really uses the contact moves. As well as, like, if I switch into a Garchomp Dragon Claw or Outrage, Outrage would be very bold, but he's probably running Dragon Claw here. That'll be nice to get some extra chip on him. And then, of course, I have the Occa Berry. Some people say Oca Berry. I think it's Occa Berry, though. That's because, first of all, he has Rotom Heat. If I'm ever caught against a Rotom Heat, I'll be okay for 1 move, maybe 2 moves, I don't know. And then, depends on his spread, I'm sure. Then for Garchomp, I think it's very likely he runs Fire Blast, so being able to just 100% live a Fire Blast is super nice. The other option would just be, like, leftovers, and yeah, they'd be nice, but I feel like Occa Berry's better here because it lets me just Leech Seed the Garchomp or knock off its item, because I do predict Choice Scarf Garchomp to be coming here, so it can beat my Latias. So knocking off his Scarf is actually going to be huge. Last but not least, this is actually maybe the best Pokemon in the matchup. I have Scarf Ditto. So Scarf Ditto is amazing here because his Garchomp can't set up. He can't use Swords Dance on me, or I'll just come in and threaten to sweep his whole team. He can't Belly Drum with Azumarill, because I'll come in, I'll kill the Azumarill with something, like Play Rough or whatever it has, and then I'll sweep his whole team. If I come in on his Lopunny, I'll just U-turn out, or I'll Close Combat or something. He doesn't really have a switch into close combat except the Amoonguss. He has switch-ins. Okay, that's not true, but like I don't think he'll bring this Magius. If he does, actually he might bring this Magius. Ignore what I just said. If I go in Lopunny, I'm probably just going to U-turn. Coming in on Skarmory, I at least can get some hazards up. I can roost off damage from earlier. Coming on Rotom Heat, that's an easy Volt Switch. There's just so many things that it's good to copy, especially with Choice Scarf, particularly Lopunny, 100% Garchomp, Azumarill 2, even Sneasel is pretty good against him. So there's so many Pokemon on his team that I just want to copy with this Ditto. And if I can switch in at the right time, or maybe just come in as a revenge killer, that's going to be amazing. Ditto's huge here. Probably will be the MVP of the match, assuming I win. Now, I might not win. This is actually a match I'm pretty scared of. I know I say that a lot, but even though my opponent's only 3 and 5, I think his team matches up well against me. So I'm going to hopefully battle him later today, and I'll post the video when I have the chance to. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the battle. Bye.